when it doesn't matter, they make 9 changes, still get a clean sheet and 3 points.
Yeah, it was for me, it was a very professional performance from the team that he put out there. You could see him on the side still wanting more from them. And then he obviously, when you make changes and you can bring on Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne, it just says the strength and depth that they have. But they got the points, and that's all that mattered at the end of the day.
They managed the game, and Pep managed the minutes as well, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought it was a nice touch, actually, that he brought the players on that have had a huge impact on the season. Obviously, De Bruyne, Haaland, Rodri, those types of players. Obviously,
Stones came on.
Yeah, you want to be on the pitch when you're there, when you finish the season. So I think they've had a magnificent season. It could get even better with the FA Cup, obviously, in the Champions League. A
virtual second string, but the theme doesn't change.
Theme doesn't change. No, played particularly well. Nice to see some youngsters playing. Nice to see some of the fringe players playing, because we haven't seen loads of them this season. Peps tend to manage with about 15 or 16 players in the main, I'd say. So that was good. He'll be pleased. He's rested up a few of the big stars, obviously with 2 huge games still to come. So job done. From Chelsea's point of view, very disappointing. They've got all the players fit. Dozens and dozens of them. They can bring on world-class players in virtually any position, yet they still were outplayed today. So, big job for whoever takes over there.
It's extraordinary to think that only 2 years ago Chelsea were beating City in the Champions League final. And now look at them.
Yeah, but you think about it, obviously, you get new owners, Roman leaves, Tobolli comes in, get rid of Peter Cech, Marina. You got rid of all the football people that built that football club. I know they won a lot of trophies, a lot of turnover with the managers. But why would you get rid of all those football people? And now it looks like they don't have any football people there. The decisions that they made it's been a mess. It's been reckless. Spending £600 million and finishing in the bottom half is ridiculous, really. But that's an amazing job for the next person, because there's a lot of great players there, a great fan base, and I'm sure. I'm just curious. I was asking the boys, I wonder what place Chelsea will finish next season. I think you're curious to know. Could be top 4 again. You never know.
Yeah, I think they will. I think the most important thing at that club is to get rid of players. You can never ever have a squad of that much quality and have have harmony, have your manager coming in and concentrating on, the starting 11 and what's happening. You're constantly draining all your energy trying to keep 30 odd players happy. I just think the main thing now is to get rid of half a dozen players, focus on a smaller pool, and I think they'll do all right next season.
But Mo, how do you get rid of them?
Well, that's
said than done, isn't it?
It is easier said than done, yeah. There's a few people that will naturally go, whether that be age or not good enough or coming up to the end of their contract, things like that. They have tried to invest, even though they've spent a lot of money. They've done it in a way in which they're reasonably young players and put them on long contracts. So I think there'll be certain players that obviously are there for the long term, but I think there will be the odd player there should be half a dozen players that adios.
The structure that Owen's talking about at Chelsea is the complete opposite at City, isn't it? And that's why, when you look now, they're about to receive their 7th Premier League trophy.
I think it always has been from the beginning. I think even when Roman was there, Chelsea pretty much bought finished articles or players that were thereabouts. Whereas I think with City, when they have bought, it's all players that suited the club in general and players they could work on and make better. They always had something there. They've always, in a way, been fantastic players, but there's always been an improvement area that they've worked on. And I just feel with Chelsea that you've never seen that.
But as far as City are concerned, apart from the first 11 and the treble, what we've seen today, there's so much to be positive around the whole group, isn't there?
Yeah, they play the best football in the league. They've got the most innovative manager in the league, and they're the only team that can actually sell some of their players to direct rivals. You think about Raheem Sterling to Chelsea, Zinchenko and Jesus to Arsenal. In the past, we would have never ever seen teams selling to direct rivals, but I think Pep believes, those players leave and new ones come in and make us better. And you look at Alvarez and Haaland, they've made Manchester City significantly better. So whatever they're doing, whoever's making all those footballers' decisions, he probably deserves a bit of a raise, because they're not getting anything wrong.
No. Let's get some immediate Manchester City player reaction to that game. Calvin Phillips, who made his full Premier League debut, is alongside today's skipper, Carl Walker.
Calvin, Carl, you've got to wait for the party to get started, but how important was it today, do you think, to keep this winning run going?
No, very important. Obviously, as I just said to you before the match, we've got a good couple of weeks ahead of us before we can take our foot off the gas. But the lads did tremendous today. Obviously, Calvin probably not played as much as what they wanted to play this season, but I think it just shows the testament to himself, the attitude that he's shown all year, and all of them out there that we've gone out and beat Chelsea, which is a good team.
Calvin, you've had to be patient. What did it mean to you today, first start in the Premier League?
Yeah, obviously it was a great feeling. When I came in this morning, the manager told me I was playing, and I was just happy, to be honest, but I was happy because we won the league the night before, and I knew that there might be a chance that I could play, so I just went home, relaxed, and just enjoyed every moment out here.
How's it been for you this year? Because I remember speaking to Jack Grealish last year, and he said he found it really tough at the start of the season. You're certainly not the only player, top quality player, who isn't necessarily playing as regularly as they like.
Thank you. Anyway, but yeah, it's been unbelievably tough. It's probably been one of the lowest points in myself, like confidence-wise, in my career. But with the guys around me, Kyle, the leaders that have kept me going and told me that I'll get my chance and it'll come. And luckily today it did. And I'm just very happy that I've got the guys around me to keep pushing me and keep working me as hard as possible.
Carl, number 5 for you. Does it feel just as good every single time? And what was different in any way at all, this one, about chasing Arsenal down?
No, obviously everyone's got their own special moment. I think to not be sitting at the top of the league for as long as we was, to then, have I think it was 11 points at one bit, to then pin them back to us just needing a victory out of one of the 3 games. It's it's brilliant. It's brilliant, but they're all special. And Calvin's won 1 now, and he's going to win plenty more with this team. It's a fantastic bunch of lads. And it's a special mention to him because this guy is a gem. Seriously, he's one of the nicest guys I've ever met in football. And he deserves it. He deserves this. He deserves the Premier League. And he deserves to get his minutes today. And hopefully, just like a few of the other ones that have been here, it takes a long time to settle in. If the manager wants to play. But he's shown his quality. That's why the manager's gone and bought him. He deserves everything he gets.
Can you pinpoint a moment, do you think, in the season when you thought, yep, we've got this?
I said it last night on the City podcast that I thought after coming back from the World Cup and we beat Liverpool here, I thought that was a stamp that they had a lot of the lads was missing. A lot of lads obviously went to the World Cup, and the manager's been working hard with the players that was here, and we ground out a result against Liverpool, which was is a top team. So I think from then on we always believed that we could do. Obviously we went to Leeds then, which is a tough place, and ground out a result there, and it's just kind of carried on from there. Listen, this group of lads are second to none, the professionals, the winners, and I think that's how we get across the line more times than not. But rest assured, we've not finished. We've got the FA Cup against our bitter rivals, Manchester United, and then we've got the Champions League final come the 10th of June. So listen, we'll enjoy it today. We'll, as I said to you before, we'll have a few glasses of champagne finally tonight. But then we move on to the 3rd of June, which is the big one in the FA Cup, for hopefully create history for this great club.
Cameron, you said it has tested you this season, but you never know in football. You could still play a massive part in either of those 2 finals coming up. So how much is a case of keeping yourself ready and keep believing?
Yeah, that's what I've tried to do all season, to be honest. I've tried, other than my injuries, I tried to just be as fit as possible and make sure that if I'm called upon, then the manager can always look at me and put me on the pitch. And whenever I get a chance, I try and do my best. So whatever goes on in the next few games, if I play or if I don't, I'll still be just as willing to support the lads.
Your job is here, but how much are you keeping an eye on Leeds?
Yeah, I have been keeping an eye on Leeds all season, to be honest. Obviously not a great result today, but I just pray to God that they get a good result in the last game and hopefully keep that great club in the Premier League.
You talked about, Carl, making history possibly. What would it mean to do the treble?
It'd be fantastic. But there's a lot of football to be played before we can start, saying about the treble. We've got 2 massive finals to do, and I think just for this club and for this group of lads that I've been involved with for 6 years, that to say we're up there with one of the greatest Premier League teams of all time, I think we have to go and conquer some of that. Obviously we've won the Formidables and we did the Centurions and we put ourselves in history there, but I think really to go and get this, we can really stamp our mark on being one of the greatest teams of all time in the Premier League.
That's to come. Both of you, go and enjoy today. Well done, guys.
Yeah, the pitch is more or less cleared now at the Etihad, so we're not too long from the presentation and the celebrations getting underway. That was really interesting to hear Kyle Walker's final answer there. They know they're close, but actually there's 2 huge hurdles for them before they, as a player, we're talking about it, but they're inside it before you can even start to think what's possible here. Difficult to get too excited?
No, because they're such professionals. I was in that position twice as a player, in my first year at Bayern and then at Manchester United. And that's the best feeling I ever had as a player. You've already won something, and there's more to come. And, you know, the competition level is at its absolute highest. Training is brilliant every day. The little bit of the pressure is off, but you want to win more, because when you win something, you want to win more. And that's the mentality of this group. You know, you think about Carl leaving Tottenham because he wanted to win trophies, 5 Premier League trophies, and the potential to win the Champions League. So they're favourites in everything. The next 2 Premier League games, you know, they're not going to worry about. But Man United in the FA Cup final, and then Inter, you know, favourites in both games. So he just said it there, you know, they could go down as one of the best ever in the Premier League history, and that's saying something.
And they've got, as we mentioned before, a group of winners, 8 of them about to get their 5th Premier League medals.
Just getting one, to be honest, is an achievement in itself. But to do that back to back, and obviously some of them picking up 5 is an astonishment. It's astonishing. Sorry, it's crazy. Like, I can't fathom, like, because it's hard. And Owen said it before, to keep that hunger of wanting to win all the time, the mental side of it, the physical aspect is hard in itself, and they've managed to do it over and over again. And I just feel like the more they win, the adrenaline keeps that going. So I feel like Brighton, they're going to feel they need to win and just keep winning, and it'll take them in the right headspace for those big games coming up.
I'm fascinated, just looking at the fixtures there, how Pep Guardiola's going to manipulate his squad in many ways. You can't just protect all your players and not play them until the 3rd of June. So obviously, a handful of them came on for 20 minutes there, but in general, they're going to have to play at some point. Do you think they'll play them all again at Brighton and then give them a rest against Brentford, or how do you think he'll shuffle his pack?
Personally, think he's just going to mix and match. I don't think, like today we saw 9 changes. I don't think we'll see 9 changes again against Brighton, and I don't think we'll see 9 changes again against Brentford. I think he'll just mix them up so they all get running, they get that yardage and that game preparation in their legs before he puts that team out there and works on that team that he wants to play in, say, the finals.
OK, we made 9 changes today. He's managed 12 consecutive Premier League wins.